in addition to the great constitutional arguments you've heard from my colleague from District 42, where clearly this is going to have some severe constitutional challenges. And again, and in addition to the discussion about how this will impact our local economy, the word pick was used earlier in debate, and I thought it was really interesting as I reflected on what to say here as we decide whether to vote for this or not, as we decide whether or not to nearly double our sales tax on firearms, accessories, related apparel, and ammunition. I thought a lot about picking and choosing. And our General Assembly as a whole does a lot of picking and choosing, I've noticed. In the time I have been here in Annapolis, in both the House and the Senate, there is really no group of people that has been more targeted for punishment in the entire state. No group of people more targeted for punishment by this General Assembly than law-abiding gun owners. It's unbelievable. Anytime something bad happens with violence, with firearms, which is almost exclusively firearms either illegally obtained or being used already against the law in the way they're being used, it's the law-abiding firearm owners who are attacked. Their ability to exercise their Second Amendment right is made more difficult. And now this attempt to make it more expensive. You know, but statistically, there's no group of people categorized that are more law-abiding than this group, that are more careful about not having their firearm or their practice cause someone to go to the hospital. As I mentioned in third reader debate, it's been, I don't believe based on the records I went and found, it's well over 100 years of records on hunting, and there's not been a death, an accidental death in hunting, as an example. But as we look at concealed carry permit holders, we've talked about this many, many times. Statistically, in the United States, the most law-abiding group of people that you will find. But we're picking and choosing. We're deciding that this is the group we're going to go after. And in Maryland, they don't have a lot of power. You got the votes, so fine, we'll stick them with the bill here. Even though 46% of visits to shock trauma are from falls. A large percentage, of course, are from car accidents. It's just not right, Mr. President. It's not right. It's another slap at a community of law-abiding people. And make no mistake, it will have a negative economic impact on our small businesses and on our people that are just trying to exercise their right to have a firearm legally, to go hunt, to go target shoot, and they're being punished for it because they live in Maryland. West Virginia is going to have no sales tax on firearms. Delaware, no sales tax. And any other state's going to have less than we have. It's wrong, and we ought to reject it. And the last thing I'll say is, we hear all the time, we have to find a funding source for shock trauma. Shock trauma is underfunded. And look, nobody in this chamber would say a bad word about shock trauma. But if you polled our constituents and asked, of all the money you spend in taxes in Maryland, and it is a lot of money, there would be no disagreement about using taxpayer money to fund emergency services. It ought not to be the last thing we're scrambling to find. We got tons of programs we've passed this year and programs we pass every year in these different departments. Why don't we do an extra tax for those programs? That's what we should be doing instead of if shock trauma funding is so important, we should find space for it in our budget, not tax one group of people and target one group of people the way we're doing with this bill. So, Mr. President, I would ask the body to reject this. It will not meet constitutional muster, and it is a punishment on a group of people that have done nothing but be law-abiding in our state. So I would ask the body to vote red.